Greetings, Stellarisians! New DLC, new build, Rift World. You get a rift, and stuff. Standard invasive species shenanigans. I took Repugnant this time because you don't need any amenities with Authoritarian. Lots of knowledge is still pretty powerful even without resource leaders, but Masterful Crafters is probably the best civic in the game again. The changes nerfed my usual strategies a ton, and I've been barely playing the game for the past 2 months, so forgive me for putting it on 2300 Endgame year this time. You start with a rift, which you need a tech to explore, and an archaeology site, which will give you that tech roll. But it's more important that you use your scientists to survey early on. You need those planets. Gone are the days of resource trait shenanigans. I found it pretty relaxing not having to look at my available leaders every 5 years like I used to. Just love these utterly useless starbase buildings. Oh, and this is a fun feature I've noticed lately where 2 of your pops would rather be clerks than priests, and you need to actually manually switch them, which is just great. We may not be alone out there. I should think not. I'm gonna try aptitude first. I know it was nerfed a lot, but I want to experience just how much the nerfs hurt. After getting the first colony ship rolling, it is now a good time to invest in a science ship for the archaeology site. Imperial Prerogative is not nearly as attractive as a starting Ascension perk anymore, which really makes me wonder what the hell they pick here. Transcendent Learning was nerfed, but so were all sources of leader XP increases, so that 25% increase now is actually quite rare and valuable, so I'll just go with that. Found a Pre-FTL, you know what that means. Get in here, you idiots. When you do conquer a Pre-FTL, it's a very good idea to immediately settle some of your pops over to upgrade the capital building. Just having rulers on the planet with stratified economy living standard will give you all the stability you need, as scuffed as this looks right now. You actually get some really nice starting agenda speed as bio now. Council expanded. Now, leadership conditioning got absolutely crippled this patch, so I'm just going to go for evolving society instead. Unity is good. The tier 2 capital is done on the Pre-FTL world, so I just need a second main species pop here as a ruler. And just like that, stability is fine. Now the problem is that this planet is just awful. I've got an Astral action, physics research, sure. Got an AI that isn't a fallen empire, let's bond with them and prepare for the inevitable. Factions since this patch are a lot harder to please, you need to actually pay attention to them now and make sure they're represented on the council. This commercial pact is just as one-sided as the one in my game with Iron. Already ran out of good agenda options, so I'm just going to go with leadership conditioning. At least the passive effect of it is okay. Rift Sphere technology developed. Let's go explore those rifts. I quite like to pick analysts, scientists, and make them govern the capital now, as officials don't give a boost to research output, and more tech is more better. Rifts are pretty straightforward, but they have more branching narrative paths than archaeology sites. You pick a thing, you spend resources on things, what happens depends on the thing you pick, etc. This Astral action lets you spawn a rift so you can rift while you rift. I started Oligarchy because the +2 effective council level is fantastic, but it's time to switch Imperial to take Feudal Society. Bit ambitious, I'm not ready to vassalize anyone yet, I'm just future-proofing. And of course, now you can actually yeet all the council positions, if you really want to. The penalties for not having Head of Research and Minister of Defense are painfully steep, so at minimum you want those. Minister of State is pretty meh, but I genuinely don't have better options right now, so in they go. First rift done. Gonna preserve the library, get a nice buff of everything, and this quite nice permanent buff, not too shabby. Now, this is a new thing, mystery people who want us to rift. Sure thing. It's gonna take a while of playing out these rifts to know exactly what to do and what not to do, because had I known this would steal my scientist, I would not have done that. Never mind, she's back, and better than ever. This action lets you build researchers that produce astral threads, which is probably a good idea to snowball them. Oh man, I never get this guy and he's really good. But I'm Spiritualist, an outlawed AI to keep the faction happy. I'm gonna have to turn you into scrap metal, I'm sorry, robot. I feel genuinely bad about this. Honestly, I'm mostly just clicking these at random. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen or what to expect. I know I've said Shared Destiny is kind of mediocre now, but I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna take it for the envoys if anything. This is probably a bad call, but this whole run is a long sequence of bad calls. I had every intention of doing Corvette spam this game, but it took me so long to build up my ally economy that I'm just doing cruises instead. This guy is really good now on basic resource planets, especially if you're using slaves. I am definitely grabbing him for my mining world. First vassal of the game, let the snowball begin, except really slowly this time. The colon spawned over here, which is not really my problem and I'm not going to do anything about it. Fallen Empire wants my best scientist, they can shove it. Actually had a leader death pretty early. Losing the +20 leader lifespan aptitude used to give you really sucks. It's hard to get lifespan bonuses now. The Khan, in person, actually came all the way around the edge of the galaxy to come fight me for some reason. I am really glad I built those missile cruisers, they are very powerful. Remember, fleet power numbers really don't mean much. The Khan had twice my fleet power here and is getting wrecked. I didn't manage to destroy the Khan's ship, but he died of old age. Invading me was the last thing he did. What a guy. I don't know if they changed something this patch, but this is a really long time for Scalarium conversion at this stage of the game. That's going to cost me so much influence. Getting the more interesting astral actions now. Let's see these edicts. Pretty good, honestly. Quite expensive, but probably worth it. We've opened a doorway. Okay. It leads to the center of the galaxy. Oh, rip gigastructures. The Unbidden's cousins need our help. Yep, 96k of fleets, I'll deal with that later. This event Paragon is completely useless and would just be a waste of leader slot. I'm doing the old Federation forming with a release vassal trick, and I've learned that going Hegemony is pretty much always the best choice now, and I'll show you why. See, Hegemony is the only one with Can Subjects Join set to yes by default. In all the others, you have to do a bit of finagling with favors to get the other members to vote yes on changing that law, but now I have all my vassals tied up already. More leader deaths is really not good. I think it's time to clean up these guys and find out what we got here. And we get a situation to defend them for some more time, goody! Psionic is love, psionic is life. I definitely think they did something to subject conversion because this is insanely long. Okay, Legendary Paragon. Level 10, pretty handy for council positions. Pretty cool astral action to use a second relic at once, that could be pretty interesting with good relics. And that is a size 40 Gaia world. This is just what dreams are made of. Just imagine turning this bad boy into an Ecumenopolis. The guys want to give me a reward, but the options suck. I want their throne, don't know what it is, but they don't want to give me it, so it must be good. The good admiral left, and we're fighting them now, but whatever, give me the chair. All leaders are immortal, that would have been really handy to have earlier. And plus 333% astral threads, that means I can actually run those edicts now. There's another vassal block up here, but I am actually so powerful compared to the leader that I don't even need to go to war. They'll accept diplomatic vassalization even with the minus 1000 penalty for being an overlord. Just beautiful. Unfortunately, that means I'm now spending influence on converting the AI's former vassals into completely useless specialists. No, I don't want to bulwark, and I certainly don't want to waste 7,000 days on converting a prospectorium, so I'm just going to release these guys and then grab them back as normal vassals. Something very cool you can do with Leviathan Parades now is actually choose which planet they go on. So naturally I'm going to throw them all on the size 40 Gaia world to stack those modifiers into the sky. Speaking of feeling bad about throwing away paragons, this poor guy. He's completely useless, but why do we have to get rid of him this way? Can't we just leave him be? You can totally cheese this the outrage event because you can't go into negative influence, so if you just spend all your influence like so, it will do absolutely nothing. Oh look, it's these nerds. Squatting in my L cluster. Oh god, no, I'm not ready for this. It's only 11 years after the Endgame year. I only have 1 mil fleet power. I'm going to die. This is my 3rd time trying to form a covenant with the Instrument of Desire, which is the only one ever worth taking. And finally it is successful. Okay, time to die. 1, 2, 3, 4. And mercifully, none of them are near me, so I can continue to build ships and pretend nothing is happening. This awakened empire is claiming my systems, which means I'm going to have some kind of problem on my doorstep. Good old preemptive invasion will sort things out, I'm sure. Oh no, was that really necessary? I think we both have a crisis that we should be concerned with instead. Wait, I wasn't paying attention, that's my capital system. They just surgically came in and destroyed my mega shipyard. And my strategic coordination center, so now I have to chase these goons away. My navy is so weak, it's not even funny. This is a winning fight, but I can't take many of these. Unfortunately, they're not really giving me much of a choice in the manner, but this one is a pretty winnable fight. Starting at max range really lets the focused Archimedes do a ton of damage. Wait, where did that one come from? Oh, they're on an Hellgate. Oh, that's my entire navy. Okay. Could have definitely played this one a lot better. I definitely overinvested in the whole size 40 Gaia world thing, which, by the way, still has not finished converting into an Ecumenopolis. So that was very silly of me. But oh well, I had fun, and I hope you did too.